Dunkirk before work. That rhymed. Uh, was it the best war film of all time? I don't know, but I sure don't see it being better than Full Metal Jacket, Platoon. I don't know who even wrote that on the wiki. I don't even know what the sources were, but for this year, at least U.S. films, it was pretty good. Probably the best war film this year. I thought it was way better than War of the Planet of the Apes. There's a lack of violence, which I felt hurt the film, and genre which I consider with a lot of violence. But I felt he definitely regained the respect of fans after there was some backlash for Dark Knight Rises and Interstellar. Even though Interstellar I consider really good from a technical perspective. He's definitely regained the fame. I don't know if he's back to Inception or Batman Begins fame or critical acclaim, but he's pretty good. Below his prime, but this is just a great fan pleaser. Casual movie fan pleaser. I would even consider it was unlike Dark Knight Rises in that nobody really liked that film even though they watched it. At least none of the critical internet people. But in terms of how good it was, I think it was below Interstellar, in my critical opinion. Because it doesn't have like a black hole thing, all those visual effects. Although it definitely had a lot of effort in it, which I'll get into in a moment. And the thing that everybody's talking to is that noise that Joy's using in the film. It's very Hitchcockian, Tarantino, and there's elements of Tarantino, and with the sound, there's elements of Hitchcock or Paul Thomas Anderson. The Master or Psycho is that music is very like that. Psycho, the Bernard Herrmann Psycho theme. It just gets you all tense up and you're gonna feel like crazy and stuff, like watching the film. You feel like you're going through an actual bombardment, you're actually scared. Those plane noises make you feel like you're bombarded. I wonder if Nolan heard about this story from Nazis bombing London when his parents or grandparents were younger. I forget how much his age is. I also wonder if it's like a 9/11 thing, because like of planes and stuff. There was also a lot more dialogue than people said, although it probably didn't need it. Before I get to that vote, I wonder if he even ripped off Paul Thomas Anderson, because the Master, that theme song with, or the There Will Be Blood theme song, with the tapping noise. It felt very Paul Thomas Anderson-ish, and I don't know what he said about it, but was it a ripoff or was it an homage? I couldn't really tell. But Nolan does it very well. He makes it his own, although it does feel very Paul Thomas Anderson-ish. Quentin Tarantino, there's sort of like the Kubrick homages to it, I think, in the full French New Wave with, like, not Large Jen, I'm trying to remember The Man Who Escapes. That used to be my favorite French New Wave film by Robert Bresson, and I sort of forgot about it. Like when Harry Styles, I think, and all the kid soldiers in the beginning are running away from the Nazis. That felt very French New Wave-ish, like A Man Escaped for Robert Bresson. The Kubrick shots in the beginning, like the people in the center of the frame, everything being organized, all the soldiers being organized. That was very interesting. A little bit of James Cameron with Titanic and the sinking boats, explosions, maybe even Pearl Harbor from Michael Bay. I don't know. That was probably inspired by Titanic, but there's more ships than just one ship, and it was a war film. I felt dragged a little bit in the beginning. I also have a debate about the cinematography of the film. Is it great for storytelling purposes? I don't know, but it has a purpose. All the shots. Oh no. The Dunkirk planes. Oh no. Hide. People understand why the choices were made, which is important. You need a connection with the audience. You need people to understand why it's done. Although it didn't work in Interstellar, and you didn't care in Interstellar whether the audiences understood what the film was about. this was a good fan pleaser. People understood why those noises were made to scare the shit out of people, and it worked. Also, in The Dark Knight Rises, here's some more Kubrick or Tarantino-esque meta universe stuff from Nolan here. Batman's in a plane in the end of The Dark Knight Rises. We have Bane in a plane throughout this film. And this is very interesting with the ending of the film, which we'll get into later. Scarecrow in this film is the one who's afraid. Sprayed by, like, his own fear gas, like in Batman Begins. He suffers from PTSD. I wonder, that works in the meta-universe thing. I don't know if it works in terms of whether it stands out more, because it's Cillian Murphy, so I expect certain stuff from him. I have expectations. If I work with an unknown, I won't be like, wow, that guy deserves an Oscar or something. But right now, I can't tell with Cillian Murphy, because I'm used to him doing a certain thing. It's sort of less of a shock for me to see him in that kind of role, although he does do something a little bit different. He's pretty good. I don't know if he was good as people say he was, and again, like people, I don't know, maybe the critics watched it a month in advance or something, but right now it's hard to say whether this is that good of a film, the best film, war film of all time. I really don't see it as that, although it's pretty damn good this year, in an era where films are so bad, or so lackluster, where we have superhero things and reboots and sequels and all that stuff. So spoilers alert. I'll wait till the 7-minute mark to say it. I felt the ending with a UK soldier destroying his plane and being carried off by the Nazis was pretty much what made an anti-war film. The harshness of war, the fact that the Allies later used planes to drop nuclear bombs, mind you, in Japan. And I don't know, I just felt like the film depicted the end of war like it was a film about ending all wars. I think I've heard that before or something. It was the end of World Wars at least, but I can't really explain how I felt that way, or explain it, but that's how I felt. But like everybody's going home. You don't see any war stuff at the end of the film, except people quitting, people surrendering, people being peaceful. You don't see bloodshed. You see captures. You see. It's hard to describe. I don't know this feeling. It felt very peaceful in the end, which I felt was pretty cool. And it's hard to describe. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, comment below, or you can just yell at me and say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a war film. It's totally a war film. Battle of the Bulge and all that stuff." I want to talk about all the production stuff too, but I think that was a good note to end on. I'll talk about how I just want to say a little bit now. They use the actual ships from World War II, which could have been controversial, but it wasn't. They used a lot of extras, obviously. They used so much. I mean, I don't know how much the budget of the film was, but you know how Nolan always spends a lot of money, and it shows. Like, there's a lot of timing predicted. Maybe just because of the extras, it was pretty outstanding. Just great. I'll be watching this for a long time. Just get the sound, just get the picture, just like everybody's been saying. Watch it in IMAX, watch it in 70mm, watch it in